The text message arrived at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, right as I was reviewing classified cybersecurity protocols for the Pentagon. My phone buzzed and I glanced at the screen to see a message from my brother Derek. I borrowed your wedding fund for my business. Emergency situation. You'll get it back eventually. Thanks, sis. Smiling face with smiling eyes. I stared at the message for a long moment, my coffee growing cold as the implications sank in. Derek had somehow accessed the $75,000 I'd been saving for my wedding to Marcus next spring. Money that he thought was just sitting in a regular savings account, earning interest while I planned the perfect celebration. What Derek didn't know was that those funds weren't ordinary savings. They were direct payments from my classified government defense contracts. Money that came with federal oversight tracking requirements, and very serious legal implications for anyone who accessed it without proper authorization. I immediately called my bank. This is Dr. Sarah Chin. I need to report unauthorized access to account ending in 7834. Let me pull that up, Dr. Chin. Yes, I see a withdrawal of $75,000 made this morning using your brother Derek Chen's access privileges. He was added as an authorized user on this account 3 years ago. 3 years ago when Derek was going through his divorce and I'd temporarily given him access to help with legal fees. I'd forgotten to remove his authorization after his situation stabilized. I need that access revoked immediately, and I need to report this as unauthorized use of classified government funds. Classified government funds? The bank representative's tone shifted to concern. This account receives direct payments from Department of Defense contracts. I'm a cybersecurity consultant for several federal agencies. The money Mr. Chin accessed is subject to federal oversight. I see. Ma'am, I need to transfer you to our security department immediately. While I waited on hold, I pulled up Derek's social media. He'd posted a photo an hour ago showing him at a luxury car dealership, grinning next to a brand new BMW convertible. The caption read, "Finally treating myself to the car I deserve. #new car, #success, #living my best life." My wedding fund had just become Derek's midlife crisis mobile. The bank's security department connected me to their federal compliance officer, who took down all the details and assured me they would flag the transaction immediately. Then I made the call I really didn't want to make. Agent Martinez, this is Dr. Sarah Chin. I need to report a potential security breach involving classified contract funds. Agent Maria Martinez had been my primary contact at the FBI's cybersecurity division for the past 2 years. We'd worked together on several high-profile cases involving cyber threats to government infrastructure. Dr. Chin, what kind of breach are we talking about? Personal breach. My brother accessed $75,000 from an account that receives direct payments from my DoD contracts. He thinks it's my personal savings, but those funds are traced and monitored. There was a pause. Sarah, tell me you're joking. I wish I were. He texted me an hour ago saying he borrowed the money for his business. He's already spent it on a luxury car. Jesus. Does he have any idea what he's done? None whatsoever. He thinks he took his sister's wedding money. He has no clue he just triggered a federal investigation. Hey, we need to move fast on this. Those DoD funds have automatic flagging systems. If he's accessed classified contract money without authorization, we're looking at potential federal charges. Can you come in immediately? I'm on my way. An hour later, I was sitting in Agent Martinez's office, providing a detailed statement about Derek's unauthorized access to my accounts. The FBI's Financial Crimes Unit was already pulling transaction records and preparing to trace where the money had gone. The good news, Agent Martinez explained, is that this appears to be theft rather than espionage. Your brother doesn't seem to have any awareness of the classified nature of the funds. The bad news. Theft of government funds is still a federal crime. We're looking at potential charges for unauthorized access to classified financial accounts, theft of government property, and violation of federal banking regulations. My phone buzzed with another text from Derek. Just got the most amazing car. Can't wait to show you. Maybe you and Marcus can double date with me and my new girlfriend this weekend. Automobile red heart. I showed the message to Agent Martinez, who shook her head in disbelief. He really has no idea, does he? None. Derek thinks I'm just a computer programmer who works from home. He has no clue about my security clearance or the nature of my contracts. Why haven't you told your family about your real work? It was a fair question and one I'd been grappling with for years. Because they wouldn't understand and it would create problems. My mom would worry constantly about my safety. Derek would probably try to use my connections for his business schemes. It's easier to let them think I do basic IT consulting. And now Derek's business schemes have landed him in federal trouble. How long before he finds out? Agent Martinez checked her computer. The warrant should be approved within the hour. We'll execute it this afternoon. I'd estimate our team will be knocking on his door around 6 p.m. What should I do? Nothing. Don't contact him, don't warn him, don't try to get the money back yourself. This is a federal investigation now. Let us handle it. I drove home feeling sick to my stomach. Derek was about to learn that his successful IT consultant sister was actually Dr. Sarah Chin, cybersecurity expert for the Department of Defense, holder of top-secret clearance, and consultant on classified projects that kept the country's digital infrastructure secure. He was also about to learn that stealing from me meant stealing from the federal government. At exactly 6:15 p.m. my phone rang. Derek's name appeared on the screen, and I could hear panic in his voice before he even spoke. Sarah, you need to help me. The FBI is here. They're saying I stole government money. They have a warrant. I took a deep breath. Derek, calm down. What exactly are they telling you? They're saying the money I took from your account was federal funds. They're talking about classified contracts and government property. Sarah, what the hell is going on? In the background, I could hear Agent Martinez's voice. Mr. Chin, you need to come with us for questioning. Derek, listen to me carefully. You need to cooperate fully with the agents. Answer their questions honestly. Do not lie or try to hide anything. But I don't understand. It was your wedding money. I was going to pay it back. Derek, we'll talk about this later. Right now, you need to focus on cooperating with the FBI. Sarah, what aren't you telling me? Why do the FBI know your name? Why are they treating you like some kind of government official? Before I could answer, I heard Agent Martinez take the phone. Dr. Chin, this is Agent Martinez. We're taking your brother in for questioning. You'll need to come to the federal building tomorrow morning to provide additional testimony. Understood. How is he handling this? About as well as you'd expect from someone who just realized he accidentally committed a federal crime. After hanging up, I called my fiancé Marcus to explain the situation. He was one of the few people who knew the full extent of my government work. So Derek finally found out that his little sister isn't just a computer programmer? Marcus said. In the worst possible way. He's being questioned by the FBI for theft of classified government funds. Jesus. What happens now? Depends on how cooperative he is and whether the prosecutors think he had criminal intent. At minimum, he's looking at federal charges for unauthorized access to government accounts. The next morning, I arrived at the federal building for my testimony. Agent Martinez briefed me on Derek's questioning from the night before. He's genuinely shocked, she reported. Had no idea about your security clearance or the nature of your work. Keeps asking how his IT consultant sister ended up with classified government contracts. What did you tell him? The truth. That Dr. Sarah Chin is one of the country's leading cybersecurity experts, that you've been protecting federal digital infrastructure for the past 5 years, and that the money he stole was payment for classified defense work. How did he react? Complete disbelief, followed by panic when he realized the severity of what he'd done. I provided my testimony, detailing Derek's access to my accounts and confirming that he had no knowledge of my classified work. After 3 hours of questions, Agent Martinez walked me out. What's the prognosis for Derek? I asked. Honestly, he's lucky this appears to be ignorance rather than malice. The prosecutors are considering reduced charges since he genuinely didn't know the nature of the funds. But he's still looking at federal theft charges and significant penalties. Can I see him? He's being released pending trial. But Sarah, you need to understand, your relationship with your family is going to change dramatically after this. Your cover is blown. Everyone's going to know what you really do. That evening, Derek showed up at my apartment. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in 2 days. Gone was the cocky businessman who'd stolen my wedding fund to buy a luxury car. In his place was a broken man who'd finally realized the magnitude of his mistake. Sarah, he said quietly, I need you to explain to me what the hell is going on. I let him in and we sat at my kitchen table. The same table where we'd shared countless family dinners growing up, where I'd helped him with his homework, where I'd listened to his dreams of business success. What do you want to know? Everything. The FBI agents kept calling you, dear Chin, and talking about your security clearance. They said you work for the Pentagon. They said you're some kind of cybersecurity expert who protects national infrastructure. That's all true. But you told us you do IT consulting. You work from home. You fix computers. I do work from home. But I don't fix computers, Derek. I protect them. I design security systems for federal agencies. I analyze cyber threats against government networks. I consult on classified projects that keep the country's digital infrastructure safe from foreign attacks. Derek stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. You have a PhD? MIT. Computer science with a specialization in cybersecurity and cryptography. And security clearance? Top secret. I've been cleared to work on some of the most sensitive cybersecurity projects in the federal government. Why didn't you tell us? Because I couldn't, Derek. My work is classified. And because I knew you'd either not understand or try to use my connections for your own benefit. He winced at that last part, probably because we both knew it was true. The money you took, I continued, wasn't my personal savings. It was direct payment from the Department of Defense for consulting work on classified projects. Every dollar is tracked, monitored, and subject to federal oversight. I had no idea. I know. But that doesn't change what you did. You accessed federal funds without authorization. That's a crime even if you didn't intend it to be. Derek put his head in his hands. Sarah, I am so sorry. I thought I was just borrowing money from my successful sister. I had no idea I was stealing from the government. What were you thinking, Derek? You just took $75,000 without asking. My business is failing. I've been struggling for months trying to keep up appearances. When I saw that much money just sitting in your account, I thought you were doing well enough that you wouldn't miss it for a few weeks. You thought wrong. I know. God, I know. Sarah, what happens now? The FBI agent said I could be looking at years in federal prison. That depends on a lot of factors. Your cooperation, the prosecutor's discretion, whether they believe your story about not knowing the nature of the funds. Is there anything you can do? Any way you can help me? I looked at my brother. This man who just destroyed both our relationships and possibly his own future because he was too proud to ask for help and too careless to understand consequences. I can testify about your character. I can confirm that you had no knowledge of my classified work. But Derek, I can't make this go away. You committed a federal crime. What about the car? What about it? The BMW. If I return it, give back whatever money's left, would that help? Might. You should definitely return it. But the damage is already done. Derek nodded slowly. There's something else I need to tell you. What? Mom and Dad. They're going to find out about all this. About your real job, about what I did. The whole family is going to know. I'd been dreading this moment since Agent Martinez first explained the scope of the investigation. For 5 years, I'd maintained the fiction that I was just a simple IT consultant. Now my entire family would learn that their daughter and sister was actually a high-level government cybersecurity expert. I know. Are you ready for that? I don't have a choice anymore, do I? Derek stood up to leave, then turned back. Sarah, for what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I'm proud that my sister is brilliant enough and important enough to protect the country's cybersecurity. I'm just sorry I found out this way. Me too, Derek. Me too. Over the next few weeks, the family revelations played out exactly as I'd expected. Mom was simultaneously proud of my achievements and terrified about my safety. Dad couldn't understand why I'd hidden my success from them. My extended family suddenly saw me in an entirely different light. Derek eventually pled guilty to reduced charges of unauthorized access to government accounts. He received 2 years of probation, community service, and substantial fines. The BMW was returned and he paid back every penny of the wedding fund with interest. More importantly, he learned that actions have consequences, especially when those actions involve federal crimes. At his sentencing hearing, I provided a character statement explaining Derek's ignorance about the nature of my work and his genuine remorse for his actions. The judge took my testimony into consideration when imposing the relatively lenient sentence. Your sister's work is vital to national security, the judge told Derek. I hope you understand the gravity of what you accessed even unknowingly. I do, Your Honor. I do. 6 months later, Derek's business was back on track. This time built on honest practices and realistic expectations rather than wishful thinking and borrowed money. He'd learned to ask for help when he needed it and to respect boundaries when he didn't. My wedding to Marcus proceeded as planned, funded by the returned money plus interest. It was a beautiful celebration, attended by family members who finally understood the full scope of my professional life. During his best man speech, Derek addressed the elephant in the room with characteristic humor. I've learned a lot about my sister over the past year. I learned that she's brilliant, accomplished, and absolutely not someone you want to steal from. I also learned that when Sarah says she works with computers, she really means she protects the entire country's computer systems. Note to self: always ask before borrowing money from people who work for the Pentagon. The speech got laughs, but it also marked a turning point in our family relationships. For the first time in years, there were no secrets between us, no hidden achievements or downplayed successes. Derek had stolen my wedding fund and triggered an FBI investigation in the process. But in the end, his crime had accomplished something I'd never been able to do on my own. It had forced our family to see and accept who I really was. Sometimes the most important truths come out in the most unexpected ways, even when those ways involve federal crimes and very expensive life lessons. The silver lining? Derek never made assumptions about my financial resources again. And he definitely never accessed my accounts without permission. Some lessons, it turns out, are best learned the hard way.